Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to our coffee times to talk about horror. And today I bring you another horror movie review because they have just released one of my most anticipated movies for 2025. You have no idea how excited I was to watch this movie. Like, the moment that I could book it, I was there. I stayed spoiler free going into it. And that's also how I advise you to go into the movie. If you see people doing reels online, try to avoid them as best as you can. My review is going to be a lot shorter than usual. It's going to be more vague than usual because I don't want to rob you from having that experience yourself. So I'm going to just quickly, in a more kind of generic manner, tell you about the film, what you can expect, and if I enjoyed it or not. So obviously this is going to be completely spoiler free.
It's coffee time!
This is an American mystery horror film that is co-produced, written, and directed by Zach Cregers, and he's the guy responsible for one of my favorite movies of 2022, which was Barbarian. Barbarian made it into my top 10 that year, and that movie kind of divided a little bit audiences, but I think the majority of people really enjoyed the movie because it did something different. That was also Cregers' solo directorial debut, which is quite impressive. When it comes to weapons, his next project, when it was announced, I was very excited, and when the kind of marketing started to come out, I was a little bit scared they're gonna reveal too much, but I think their marketing department did such an amazing job at keeping the mystery. They are not giving you the whole plot of the movie, they're just giving you enough information for you to be interested in this mystery to solve, but they are not spoiling the movie. So I am really thankful that they did try to not spoil the audience like a lot of trailers, a lot of marketing campaigns do nowadays, where they spoil a lot of kills, they spoil a lot of things from the plot. So I was really happy with the marketing campaign for this movie, but I would still recommend you, if you want to go and watch it, to not watch too many reels and videos about it online. Especially now that the movie is officially out, I think it's very easy to come in contact with spoilers. That's also another reason why I wanted to watch this movie ASAP the minute that it was available in the cinema, because I knew people were gonna start posting about it, and not everybody understands that spoilers are rude, especially if a movie is just out. I would really not like to post spoilers on reels, on anywhere online, on my stories, unless it's a movie that's been out for at least, I don't know, half a year, something like that, where people have had the chance to watch it in the cinema. It's probably already in VOD, so then it's not as, it's not as tragic. So like I said, this review is going to be a little bit shorter than usual. It's going to be a little bit more vague, even though I'm going to touch on the usual things that I normally talk about, like characters, production, horror, and all of that, and I'll give you my honest review as well. But this is going to be a short one because, like I said, I want to protect you guys because I need everybody to go and watch this movie. So let's get to the plot. The movie follows a very strange case. All but one child from the same classroom mysteriously vanish on the same night at the exact same time. The small community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance and wonder, where are all of these kids? We're in Mayberg, Pennsylvania, and 17 kids from a third grade class disappear. So 17 out of 18, which means one kid from that class did not disappear. They all disappeared the same night, at the same time, and none of them were ever seen again. So that is kind of like the premise of the film. That is the mystery, the hook of the movie. That's also what it is explained to you in the first couple of minutes of the film. So that is basically the base for the story, and the rest is just wonderful. I'm not gonna get into the rest of the story. I'm just gonna leave you with the mystery of what this movie is about, and you can discover the rest when you watch the movie. Some of the main characters that we have is obviously Alex, the little kid that is still in the class, the only one that showed up for class that day, because why did 17 children disappear but not him? And also Justine, which is the teacher for that class, like why exactly her class? So those are kind of like the mysteries, the questions are presented to you as the audience, like in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Those first minutes of the movie are so good. They are captivating. They already like really hook you. I was immediately invested. I wanted to know more about the town, about the characters, about the kids, what happened to them. Like, I was in. They did such a good job to get you excited from the get-go, and the way that they tell the story is very different but so effective. So the film follows the small community that has lost the children. So you follow like the town, people that live in the town, some of the parents, and everybody that is involved, the police, you know. It's like a small town mystery in a way, but just elevated to a fantastic story. In the movie, you're gonna follow specific characters and you're gonna see their stories, but the way that the director decided to tell the story is quite unique. Krieger decided to divide the story in character-driven chapters, and they're all presented to you one by one. So there's basically no like straight line narrative where all the perspectives, all the POVs are intertwined. First, you follow Justine, the teacher, for a couple of days, then you follow another character for the same days, then another character, and this is kind of slowly revealing to you everything from the story, but very slowly and in a very smart and unique way. I love the way that this story was told. It was just so different, so unique, but at the same time, I was really invested in the story, in the characters, in the town. The town felt so real as well, and I have to say that all the main actors in this movie, their performances were fantastic, like no notes. With Barbarian, the director took a very simple concept, you know, and very realistic concept, which is an Airbnb, and turned it into something different, weird, and took it to, let's say, a different level. And Barbarian had many different tone changes throughout the movie, which is something that you can expect in Weapons as well. Here also the director takes a simple concept, small town, school, the child disappearances, you know, something that you see a lot in mystery thrillers, but he takes it to the next level. Changing the tone in a movie can be really tricky, especially if you have different tonal shifts and they are quite big, because you can lose the audience when you do that. However, I have to say the way that Krieger does it, he did it in Barbarian, he has done it again in Weapons, is a very unique way of doing it. He's a very unique filmmaker, and I think his own style cannot easily be replicated, which is part of the reason why I really admire his work. The way this movie is divided in character chapters, let's say, it's not just for show, it's not just like a editing preference or whatever, it's because it has a purpose, and that's so important. I like things in movies that have a purpose, and the purpose is to slowly reveal more and more details about the characters, about the town, about what happened, and the way it's done, it's just so satisfying. This movie is so intense, the way that it is put together, that it doesn't give you a minute to breathe. Like, I was grabbing my seat multiple times because it was a very intense feeling the whole time, like the feeling of dread. You're definitely not gonna get bored with this movie. The pacing at the beginning might seem slow, but let me tell you, I was not bored at all. I was so invested, I could not think of anything else. I was just focused on the movie, and those experiences are rare nowadays, let me tell you, because it's so easy for movies to pull me out of them nowadays, and this one really captured my attention for the whole time. Something that this movie did really well is that when there is a dream sequence in this movie, the director lets you know that it's a dream sequence in advance, which means he can do whatever he wants in that dream because you already know this is not true. You already know this is a dream and it's not happening. And there's nothing that I despise more in horror movies when you're watching something happen and it turns out to be just a dream. And sometimes movies do that multiple times throughout the film, and sometimes they do like 2 dreams in a row, and it's just so annoying to me. It's one of those tropes that for me doesn't really work unless you do it maybe in a more interesting, different way, but it's one of my pet peeves in horror movies. Like, I don't like when a character is in a dream and then it's like, oh, it was just a dream. I don't know. I don't like that. But this movie, because it already tells you that it's a dream before the dream kind of really starts, you already know in advance that everything you're gonna see is just a dream. And it doesn't take away any of the impact of that dream. Like, Craigers is just, he is just a wonderful filmmaker. He knows how to take certain tropes in movies and flip them and make them work. The cinematography is just flawless. This movie just looks so good. And the director decides sometimes to put the camera in the middle of the action, over the shoulder of someone running, over the shoulder of somebody talking inside of the car. Like, the camera is just in a lot of close-ups of things, and it's a very interesting choice, but I think it just made the whole scenes and the whole movie a lot more intense, because you were kind of like living things with the characters. You were up close and personal with the action, and I love this choice as well. Now, when it comes to the horror, this movie has some humor, same as Barbarian had. Like, there's some tonal changes, there is parts where humor is introduced, but let me tell you, you're still gonna get your fair amount of horror. Now, a lot of people have discussed, is this really a horror movie? Is it more of a mystery thriller? And I would still say that it is a horror movie, but it's just not your typical straightforward horror movie. Just because it doesn't follow the pattern of like a slasher or a supernatural horror movie doesn't mean that it's not horror. In fact, the whole movie is unsettling. From the moment it starts to the very end, this movie is unsettling. I was the whole time having this feeling of dread. There were a lot of moments that I didn't know what to expect, because the director also knows how to play really well with certain jump scares or things. He doesn't do things in a traditional way, which is a great way to surprise the audience as well. Let me tell you, the first time something creepy happened and it was kind of like a shock, the girl next to us started screaming. So I know it was quite efficient. There are some bloody and gory bits in this movie as well. They tend to come towards the end, but they're very satisfying. You're gonna see things that beautiful, lovely gore. I loved it. I think Gregors has a talent not just for creating this unsettling, ominous mood, but for keeping it going throughout the whole movie. He has a very interesting approach, kind of like classic horror, where the reveal is left to the very end, kind of like what happened with Barbarian. Yes, things are being revealed, but the kind of like big parts come at the end, and you can expect the same in this movie as well. But like I said, even though it takes a while for everything to really explode, let me tell you, I was zero bored. At no point in this movie was I disconnected. What can I tell you? I was considering giving this movie a 4.5, but I think I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 because for me, it was better than Barbarian, even though Barbarian is still up there with my favorite like new horror movies from the last decade. But this was just so satisfying. I think part of it is the way the story was told, being so unique, and the characters being so well fleshed out. The depth of the characters, they were just so believable. The town felt real. Then there's the mystery that was kind of like a puzzle box, and you had to try to piece the things together throughout all the different POVs that you were watching. The more POVs you were watching from the characters, the closer you were getting to the actual truth of what was happening in this town. And that feeling of dread of finding out what happened to the kids just keeps escalating. Your heart keeps racing. I was like grabbing my seat at times. I didn't know what to do with myself. Like, I was tense. And not all movies manage to give me that like feeling of something dreadful is about to happen. I really enjoyed this movie. It reminded me of movies like Longlegs, where things are very slow but the payoff is so worth it. So if you like movies like that, Weapons is probably gonna be also a movie for you. If you have enjoyed Barbarian and you don't mind this kind of like tone changes and a little bit of humor in your horror, this might be a movie for you as well. I just personally, I would encourage everybody to go watch this one. If you're gonna watch a horror movie this summer, it has to be Bring Her Back and Weapons. Like, this summer is coming so strong. I think we had to wait for now to discover the best movies of the year, because those two for me are gonna be up there on my ranking. Alright you guys, I hope that you enjoyed the spoiler-free review of Weapons. Let me know down below, have you seen the movie? Are you excited to watch it? Did you also love Barbarian? Do you like Zach Cregger's unique take on horror? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Thank you guys as always so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in our next coffee time. Bye!